name is Avis Cohen, and I have a joint appointment in the Institute for Systems Research and the Department of Biology, where I am a professor of neurobiology, or neuroscience, as I prefer to say. My history is a long one in interdisciplinary research. I've always been interested in systems, not in how a particular system works, but how systems in general work. What are the principles of systems? And as a consequence of that, I've used mathematicians. Well, I haven't used mathematicians, but I have collaborated with mathematicians, engineers, physicists, and all kinds of people to bring their expertise with me to study how principles of biology work in systems as a whole. And in general, how do you build a smart system? How do you take the principles from biology and apply them to build smart systems? Because it seems to me that if you look not at how a system implements itself, but rather how a system is, what are the principles that make it work? And if you look across biological systems, for example, if you look across vertebrates and invertebrates, you'll see that there are principles that hold, even though they're going to be implemented completely differently. So that is a principle that works. So if you take those principles and you apply them to build smart engineered systems, that's how you get the best smart engineered systems. And my interest at the moment is in neurorobotics. And this is quite a new field, and it's applying the principles of neuroscience to build smart robots. And in particular, that means that we have to bring into the lab people who do actuation. That is, how do you move the parts? What are the motors? How do you build them? What are the best ways to build them? And we have some very good ideas from biology, but how do you implement those ideas into an engineered system? You also need controls. How are the pieces controlled? And therefore you need somebody who understands how control systems work. And you need a neuroscientist. I will be the neuroscientist, but we will have small seminars where we introduce people to the concepts across these different areas. We'll also have people who have experience in building robots, who understand the mechanics of robots. So this is basically what I do on the engineered side. On the biology side, I'm still doing research on what happens when an animal has an injury to its spinal cord. And here I'm working with a physicist and a bioengineer, excuse me, to understand what happens when an animal regenerates its spinal cord after it's transected or cut or crushed in some way. And there we use lampreys, which is a relatively, well, it's an animal at the base of the vertebrate tree. So it's what you'd think of as a primitive fish, and it regenerates by itself. But I think if left completely by itself, we have some strong evidence that the regeneration would not be adaptive. It would be maladaptive. The animal doesn't swim properly. Even though it regenerates, we can prove it regenerates, but it does not regenerate properly. So what are the differences between those that regenerate properly and those that regenerate improperly? And here I work with a physicist, and we put these live animals into a synchrotron to understand what the structure inside the living animal is. So you can see that all of my work is characterized by pulling together teams who understand and are willing to work together in a collaborative way in order to provide. There's no way that I could work in a synchrotron without my close friend Gabrielle Long, because I don't know anything about the physics of a synchrotron. So she comes with us, and she doesn't know the biology, I know the biology. And we have a tissue engineer who understands the mechanics of tissues. So, you put this kind of group together and you can have the best kind of research possible. So So this is in general my philosophy of research, and I bring it to neurorobotics, and I bring it to the biology, and I brought it to the development of a neuroscience and cognitive science program, which I was the founder of in 1995, 6, something of that order, where I was the first director. So in general, I think that this is the best way to understand almost anything, is to cut across these disciplines, bring people together, work together, and don't worry about who's going to get credit. We'll all get credit if it's work well done.